Hi guys, welcome to our channel, Why Not Now? My name is Steven, this is my beautiful wife, Lisa Marie, and in today's video we're going to talk about temporary residency over here in Mexico.
So to start off, if you guys haven't already watched part 1 of this video, please hit the pause button right now because you're going to want to know and need to know part 1 before you move on to this part, which is part 2 once you get into Mexico. So go ahead and check out that video first. I'll go ahead and link it in the description below so you have that information. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about what forms you need to complete your temporary residency once you arrive here in Mexico. We're going to give you some information about the process, and I'm going to actually show you the website here in Mexico where you can access all of these forms and talk about the process. So I hope this helps you out. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, temporary residency in Mexico, once you arrive in Mexico after you've completed part 1, which is get your temporary residency visa in the United States, you're going to have 30 days upon landing in the airport. So you land in Mexico, you're going to go ahead and have an immigration form that we talked a little bit about in part 1 that you want to hang on to with your dear life because you need that immigration form. I'll have my husband show it to you in a moment. You're going to go ahead and once you get that stamp on your temporary residency visa, the clock starts ticking immediately. Mm-hmm. So you have 30 days from that date upon arrival, upon getting that stamp, to go ahead and complete your process, start your process here in Mexico. So make sure, I know you have to get settled in once you arrive like we did, you have to get into maybe an Airbnb, but try to get that process started within at least the first week or 2 of landing here in Mexico.
Okay, and this is what the form looks like my wife was telling me about. You guys can see it.
So my husband's covering up the bottom portion intentionally because it has our personal information on it. You're going to have 1 form per person, but I want to show you that it's a white form. It's actually about the size of this passport here that you're going to get back, but the entire form is about, I would say, about double the size of this, and they're going to tear off a part of this and give it back to you, but it's going to look like this in the heading, that Mexican flag color, the green, white, and red, and that's what it's going to state at the top. It's called also known as the F, like Frank, M like Mary, M like Mary, FMM Form, and you're going to use that to trade in for your actual residency. So again, guys, hang on to that for dear life and put that in the middle of your passport and don't lose it because no one told us about that, and we were really clueless when it came to that. We didn't know how important it was, and luckily we kept it and put it aside. Okay, so to start off, let's talk about the 3 types of forms that you're going to need. And if you see me looking down, guys, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't miss anything. I want to make sure I give you all the information to make it as easy as possible for you. So the first form you're going to complete is going to be called the Formato Basico. It's going to basically contain all of your just information, demographics, your place of residency. Now, someone had asked me this in the past, and I just want to go ahead and put it out there. Don't stress about the address. You can always change that later. If you're staying at an Airbnb, you put that address on that form. I promise you're not going to have any issues. That's what we did. It was no problem. It's going to ask you some basic information about skin color and your height and your weight, your reason for wanting to be here in Mexico, and I'm going to point that out when we actually show you the form on the website. You want it, very important, you don't complicate things. You don't want to put down that even if you are a freelancer, for example, that you get money online in the US, which is completely legal, you don't want to put that on the form because you can confuse the agents at the immigration office. So just put down there hogar, which is the purpose that you're here is to make this your home. That's pretty much it. You don't want to complicate things, keep it nice and simple. And I'll show you where that is. So the second form you're going to complete is called your Tramite. And your Tramite is just, when you fill it out, you're gonna fill it out online. So I'll show you how to do that online, give you some of the basic information. But keep in mind, guys, that although you're going to print that out as well and keep that, it's not an official appointment. It's kind of a way for you to register in the system and showing, why you want to come into the immigration office. What's your purpose for your visit? Obviously, it's going to be to exchange your temporary residency visa for your actual temporary residency card, okay? So that's number 2. The last one is going to be your, and excuse me guys, I should really put my glasses on. Let me do that. It's going to be your pago de derechos. Okay, excuse me if I'm butchering that. Pago de derechos. Okay, and that is just a form that you're going to bring with you to a bank, any bank here in Mexico, to pay for your temporary residency fee. Now, when we went, it was 4,271 pesos.
Correct, per person.
Per person. I recently went on the website and checked it out, and it looks like they increased it just a tad bit. So just keep that in mind. You know, what is today may not be tomorrow, so you always want to do your own due diligence, do your own research, go online and confirm that the information is up to date, because things change, guys. Okay, so that's the form you're going to bring into the bank when you make a payment for one for you and your spouse. If that's the case, you're going to go ahead and get a receipt back. Make sure you keep that receipt, because you're going to want to bring that with your Tramite, with your Formato Basico, all your other 2 forms into the INM office, the immigration office. Okay, now I'll mention this quickly. The Pagos de Derechos form is going to be on a separate website, but again, all this information will be linked in the description to make it easy for you to find what you need. But just FYI on that. Okay, so along with those forms, which are going to be printed out, your Tramite, your Formato Basico, your Pagos de Derechos receipt after you've gone to the bank, you're gonna have to bring in a couple of other things.
Yeah, you just bring you're gonna bring in your passport. You're gonna bring in your document right here,
which is called the
FMM Form. And you're gonna bring this in, of course, your passport and all the other documents that you have, and you just print them out and keep copies of all the things that you print out.
Right. And we'll show you on the website as well. They have a list for you to make it convenient of everything that they need you to bring in, like your FMM, your passport, and so on and so forth. So we'll show you that section. That way you can get the most up-to-date information. Okay, so now, once you've completed all of that, you've gone to the bank, you have your forms ready to go, they're printed. Now, what are you going to do? So a lot of people ask me this question. They wonder, oh, can they just submit it online? No, you can't.
Yeah. You bring all your documents and you go to the INM office, and make sure you get there early, because they're, especially right now, I think they're only allowing so many people in at a time. And if I can back a little bit, when you go to the bank, make sure you go to the banks early as well, because there are some long lines at the banks. So
always, right, baby?
Yeah, there's long lines at the bank, so go ahead and take care of that early in the morning and get that out of the way. But yeah, once you go to INM, you're gonna arrive and you're gonna make sure you get there early, all the documentation, everything you need, and you're gonna wait in line. There's gonna be someone coming to the gate over here in Santiago de Querétaro. Someone's coming to the gate and he's checking all your stuff right there, and then they allow you to come through. And that's when you go in and you start the process.
Right, like my husband said, that's really, really important, especially right now with the pandemic. We've heard, things change from week to week, month to month. At one point, they were only allowing 50 people in at a time. At one point, they were only taking people at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. So you really want to go ahead and just confirm, get there early and confirm the time that that you should be coming there for future reference. And if you need something taken care of, or if you forgot something, for example, you don't want to just waste your time and keep showing up there hours ahead of time and standing around.
And the good thing about that, if you forgot to print something out or get some pictures taken or something like that, there are places around that offer those services. So that's somewhat helpful if something doesn't go, if you didn't bring everything that was needed at the time.
Right. Okay. So guys, all right, once you, like my husband said, you're there early, you're in the line, you have your paperwork, so you show them your forms that you've completed, you have your receipt from the bank, they're going to look at that, they're going to let you in the building, and at that point, you'll wait downstairs for a bit, and then they'll go take you upstairs, and at that point, you'll get a number, and when your number is called, you'll go to the agent, they're behind the window, and you'll just sit there and give them your documents, and just pretty much, it'll explain the purpose for your visit. At that point, they're going to let you know that, make sure you have the right email on file. They're going to let you know and follow up with a true appointment confirmation. So via email, it could take, now for us, I mean, you know, it worked out well. We had some additional guidance initially because we really didn't want to go through the delay, especially with the pandemic. So our appointment, we got it within, I want to say, 3 weeks after the initial, you know, our paperwork was submitted. So thankfully, so if you do need some additional assistance, we can recommend somebody to you.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to have to pay a fee, and depending on what level of assistance that you need. So just keep that in mind. But you'll go ahead and submit everything, and then you'll just pretty much, once you leave that first visit at the I&M, you'll just wait for that email confirmation. Again, it could be anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. It just depends. I would recommend, guys, don't just sit around. Now, if you see it's been, you know, 2 months or something like that, and you haven't heard anything, or going on 3 months, I would recommend getting some assistance because things can happen, and you want to make sure that you're not just waiting and something was lost and you know, just letting time go by. So just keep that in mind, guys.
Yeah, and by getting the extra assistance, they know the people up there for the most part.
They know the loopholes.
Yeah, they know everything, so they can go in and find out the status of your
and talk the lingo.
Yeah, of your process and everything like that, and that would be greatly helped. But yeah, that'll be something
tremendous relief, especially with the language barrier for those of you who are like us, where you may just know a little bit of Spanish, or maybe you don't know any Spanish at all. It can really relieve some of that extra stress that comes with the whole process.
Because in our experience, they told us, the person that was helping us out, she said that, oh, they know English in there. And no,
guys.
No, they knew just a little bit, and just a little bit. In my experience, who I dealt with, I can't speak for everybody in there. So.
My experience, the person who called me, it was very different. They didn't speak any English, and I had to kind of fumble through it, and I figured it out.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't expect them to speak English because we're in their country, so we should know Spanish. But we're just telling you this to not to scare you, but to prepare you. So if you have any notes or any questions, you know, have a little translation, a little pad with you. We just want to kind of just give you a heads up.
Yeah, but yeah, when the person I was dealing with, we were just doing a lot of sign language back and forth, figuring it out. But yeah, she was very nice. She helped us out. And also on the inside, if I can explain how it looks on the inside, they're making sure you're separating from each other. Even my wife and I, they made us separate, and then they have partitions in between all the little cubicles or whatever you can call it when they call you up. So you're separated. They're making sure everything is safe in there, so you shouldn't have to worry about that.
And guys, just so you know, you have to wear a mask when you go. So, you know, you're wearing a mask. When you get to the second floor, you're not allowed to use your cell phone. So if you have any important phone calls to make, you can't even text. I'm telling you, they will call you out. They don't want anybody on their cell phones because that's just what it is. Those are the rules. And you know, just go in there, guys, with you know what your goal is. Don't be combative. Respect the rules there. Have your mask on, and don't use your phone when you get upstairs to that second waiting area because the security guard will call you out. Just FYI.
Yeah, they will.
So okay, now we gave you some extra tips and information. Lastly, so you left the I&M office. Now you're waiting for your appointment. Once you do get that appointment via your email confirmation, you know, make sure you bring any necessary documentation again. And then at that point, you're gonna get there early again. You're gonna have your paperwork showing the reason for your visit. This is your second visit now to the I&M office. And at that point, you're going to wait downstairs again. You're gonna be called upstairs to the second waiting room area. Again, guys, and this time you won't be given a number. They'll call you by your name. So just listen out for your name. And it can be tricky sometimes because, you know, there's really not a uniform way that everybody goes about it. Some people will, you know, loudly call your first and last name. Some people will, you know, say it very low. So just pay attention, be aware. It's a very small waiting area. So just pay attention so you don't miss your name.
And my name is Steven, by the way. So they may say Esteban or something like that. So you kind of have to have your ears open and paying attention.
That's
but
true.
they would try to re-announce it over and over again, and then they'll move on.
So once we were waiting, and then we were called.
Yeah, we walked up. We went to the window, handed them everything, and then we went back and forth. And then that's when they started showing us to make sure that everything was matching up. And they're gonna have you sign things. They're gonna have you do fingerprints. They're gonna have you take a picture, a photo. They're gonna make you turn around to the right, turn around to the left. I'm a big guy. It was kind of tight in there.
Very tight.
But, and people were laughing at me because I was trying to move around. But
because they have the board behind you, behind your chair. It's like a little wobbly board, and then you're right there in between the glass window, and it's just tight.
Yeah, but then it was kind of tight. But they're gonna have you sign stuff, and if I can remember, I don't know if it was the last name first, because keep in mind over here you're gonna have to put the day first, and then the month, and then the
pay
year.
attention to those things, guys.
Yeah, so just be careful about how you go about it. But they just want to make sure everything match up of the previous process when you were in the United States or whatever. They want to make sure everything lines up.
And that all your data, your name, your date of birth, your address, everything is accurate. So you are just pretty much affirming that when they're showing you the documents, they're telling you you are affirming the data is correct on here when you're signing.
Yep.
And another thing, just be mindful that, I know we're used to, like back in the States, like we just scribble our name. Make sure you're signing so that it matches your passport, so it doesn't look so different. That way you don't have any issues, okay? So that's pretty much it, guys, with the process. You then will, of course, renew in a year from the time that you applied. So for example, for us, we applied in November. So we know that 30 days prior to November, so in October, we'll make sure that we start the renewal process. And what we'll do is we'll do an updated video down the road at that point to show you the renewal process. But now we'll move on to the website, show you how to access the forms, and hopefully you guys found this information very helpful. We'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, so here we are at the website where you're going to complete your paperwork for your temporary residency here in Mexico. As you can see at the top here, we are at www.gob.mx. I'm going to scroll to the very, very bottom. Now, there are, of course, multiple ways that you can access this information, but I'm going to just show you from the very beginning. That way you know, just in general, what you're to look for in case there are any changes in the website. So here where it says Identidad, Pasaporte y Migración, I'm going to click on Ver Todo, so to look at everything within that category. So as you can see here in the highlighted area in this burgundy wine color, this is where we are, okay? And now we're going to scroll down, and where it says here, Migración, Visas y Estancias en México, I'm going to click on that. And now we're going to go ahead and look in the middle of the page as I'm scrolling down. We're looking for here. Expedición de documento migratorio por caje. Okay, so we want to exchange our document. So we're going to click on that. We want to exchange our temporary residency visa for our actual residency card. And I'm doing this, it does translate in English on Google, but sometimes mine will go back and forth. So if you see that, I apologize. Okay, so here we are where we need to be. Now, I'm going to scroll down so you can see. And it tells you here necessary documents. It tells you here your passport or identity and travel document, current and valid in accordance with international law. Okay, so that's what you're going to need to bring. Your, as we discussed earlier, your valid and current FMM, that little form that we showed you with the green, white, and red heading that you're going to get once you get off the plane. You want to keep that, stick it in your passport. Of course, your temporary residency visa is already going to be within your passport. So all that is what you need. And the proof that certifies the payment of rights in accordance with the federal law rights and other applicable legal provisions. And what was that? That was that pagos de derechos form that we talked about when you go to the bank and that you show that you've paid the fee. Again, that fee has changed. I'll show you at the bottom what it is currently. That receipt that you get from the bank, that's what they want to see as well. Okay, we're going to disregard this section because we're not coming based on anything with the religious association. Then again, you also need, as my husband mentioned, the 3 photographs, and it tells you here the size, front and one of the right profile and of the face, white background, bare forehead and ears without earrings. So guys, if you have any nose rings, any jewelry, take it all out. Don't have any dark makeup on, just like you would do your passport photo when you were applying in the United States for your temporary residency visa. You want to have a blank canvas just like that. Okay. Scrolling down to the bottom, here are the costs. So the issuance of immigration document, temporary resident up to 1 year. So now we paid $42.71 back in November. Now it looks like they've raised it to 4,413 pesos per person. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and just scroll down so you can see here that there are multiple ways to access the Tramite form. So you can click here on the right-hand side, online procedure. That will bring you to the Tramite form. You can scroll back up here, application online. That will bring you to the same Tramite form. It's just pretty much multiple ways to access the same thing. Here at the very top, this highlighted basic form duty filled out, that is that Formato Basico form. So again, guys, we want to get that Formato Basico form, the basic form filled out, which has your general information, height, weight, address, why are you here, hogar, home, remember you're not working, even if you're a freelancer, this is that form. Then your Tramite, which you can access again by clicking that on the right-hand side, the online procedure in blue. So let's do that. We'll do that first. It's going to redirect us. Okay, here we are for the Tramite form. What do you want to do? So let's hit the drop down. And we're going to redeem or replace an immigration document. Okay, specifically what? What do we want to do? We want to caje de FMM por tarjeta de visitante o de residente. So we want to exchange our FMM. Remember that form, that little form we showed you at the beginning that you don't want to lose, that has a green and white heading. That's the FMM. That's going to be exchanged for a tarjeta, a card, whether it's a temporary or a permanent residency. In this case, we're talking about temporary residency. So you're going to exchange. So that will be your selection there. And here you want to complete all of the areas with an asterisk. I'm not going to go and put every single item in, but as you can see, it's self-explanatory. Your name, last name, date of birth, current nationality, gender, current marital status. Oh, and just FYI, guys, because sometimes I know it can get confusing. Under current nationality, when you hit that drop down, put E and hit it until you see this. This means that you are a United States citizen. That's what you want to select, just FYI for nationality, okay? Of course, place of birth, passport or document with which the foreigner is identified. So your identification document, obviously, you're going to put in there your passport, the passport number, further to the right, the country of dispatch, of course, the United States. If you click U here, United States of America will come up, as you can see here. And of course, the dates of your passport, the initiation date, the expiration date, the residence of the foreigner in Mexico. So here, guys, this is where you want to put your address in Mexico. Again, don't stress about if you're staying in an Airbnb. It doesn't matter. You can change that down the road with immigration. That's what we did. We put our Airbnb address. It's completely fine. You just need to have an address here in Mexico. Okay? Very important here, guys. At the bottom, correo, that's your email. You want to make sure you have the right email in there because that's how you're going to get your confirmation appointment. So if you don't have the right email, you won't get that confirmation. You won't be able to finish the process. So that's, I'll scroll down real quick here. If you need to add another person, so for example, like if I were doing this for myself and I need to add my husband, I would go ahead and click on where I'm highlighting here to start another one for my husband. Otherwise, you're good to go, you're done. If you're not sure, guys, if it's not translating in English, just take your phone. And we had actually did a video on this with the 7 must-have apps for here in Mexico, 7 essential apps. Use your Google Lens, hit the translate part of Google Lens and hover over some of the words that you don't know and it'll translate for you, okay? That'll make it much easier. Okay, guys, so that's the Tramite. Once you complete that, you submit it. Obviously, I can't do that right now. You're going to print that out. Okay, now I'm going to X out of there. Let's go back here to the page where we were at initially. We were here, we did the online procedure, we printed out our Tramite form. If we have a spouse, we went ahead and did a secondary Tramite for our spouse, printed that one out. Now let's go and do our basic form, our Formato Basico. I'm gonna open that up so you can see what that looks like. Okay. And let me see if I can go ahead and just zoom in a little bit more. So this is a form you're going to complete. Okay, again, your nationality here. Remember that you put that Estados Unidos nationality. Excuse me if I'm butchering the pronunciation. Everything's going to be in Spanish again, guys. So just take your time. Again, color de tez. That just means your skin color, peso, your weight, height, so on and so forth. Do you speak Spanish? We put no because we don't. We just know a little bit. Your religion, just whatever you need to fill out here. I wanted to show you what I mentioned earlier because it's very important. When we talked about actividad, so why you here in Mexico, actividad principal, again, you want to put there hogar. So hogar is what we put, and it was just spelled Hogar, just means I'm here because I want to make Mexico my home. At the secondary part here, actividad in Mexico, then it asks you your situation when it comes to work. Again, guys, even if you're a freelancer, don't put that there. It'll confuse the agent potentially, or very likely to confuse the agent. And then they might reject your application and think that you're working here in Mexico when that's not in the case. So you want to also put hogar, actividad principal, just put hogar there, and that's pretty much it. You're good to go. Finish completing it. Of course, you're going to sign, you're going to date. Keep in mind, guys, again, like my husband mentioned earlier, we're in Mexico, so day first, then month, so dia, mes, so then month, then año, okay? That once you've completed it, you're going to print it out as well. So now let's go ahead and go back to the main page. So we have our tramites printed out, which we completed online. We have our basic form, our Formato Basico, which you've printed out. You want to have an extra copy of everything. You know what documents you need to bring with you. You need to have your photographs here. You know how much you need to pay. You've gotten your receipt at the bank. Now I'm going to cut this here, and I'm going to jump to another website and show you where to access your form that you're going to be bringing to the bank to make that payment, so you can have that receipt to put with these other 2 forms when you go into the INM office. Okay, guys, so here we are at the other website where you're going to complete your request to have that Pago de Derechos form generated, and you're going to print that out to go ahead and hand it into the bank and make your payment. The website we are at as you can see at the very top here is inm.gov.mx/gobmx/derechos/. Okay, so kind of person you're going to put physical because you're one person. And if you have to, guys, if you're doing this for yourself and your spouse, you're going to have to do this process twice. Just FYI. You're going to enter your surname, so your last name, and I'm just going to enter mine so you can I'm going to generate a form so you can actually see what it looks like. Okay, first name, and if you have a middle name, you can enter it there as well. Hit continue. Type of procedure or service. Okay, we are looking for residente temporal or temporary resident, right? DRT, because mine is translating in English. See it highlighted here. I'm going to click on that. Procedure, this can look overwhelming, guys. Don't mind all of this here. Just go ahead and click on the very first one here, which is going to be for temporary residency request for 1 year. And I know you can't see that here very clearly, but I'll show you once we generate the form. State, I'm in Querétaro, so whatever state that you are in. And then here, selection, obviously mine automatically populates Querétaro QRO. And I'm going to hit continue. Now, this is what I was talking about, guys, here. Do you see where it says temporary resident DRT? And it tells you here, it's for, and it certifies the condition of stay of temporary resident up to 1 year. So as you can see here, that's what you selected. They don't approve upon initial request for temporary residency more than 1 year. That's just the way it is. Could change, anything could change, but as of right now, that's what you want to select. It's going to generate a reference key here. And it's going to tell you the fee that you have to pay per person. So in this case, again, guys, 4,413 pesos per person. Again, make sure you have another form for your spouse, if that's the case, to bring into the bank. And I'm going to click on to print so I can show you what the form looks like. To accept. And here, guys, is the form. This is what you're going to print out. It generates the key, has your name on there and how much you're going to pay. It tells the bank the purpose for your visit. You're going to make sure that you print that out, one for you, one for your spouse. Have the cash on hand to go ahead and pay the bank, okay, in pesos. And very important, guys, print this out and then make a few more copies. So when you print this out, you're going to want to make it minimum 2 additional copies and maybe even 3, because the INM office uses multiple copies and you don't want to get turned away for not having that on hand. So very important. Okay, guys, hope you found this helpful. And that is it for the Pago de Derechos. So this is what you bring to the bank to make your payment. And then once you're done with that, you get a receipt from the bank. You're bringing that receipt along with all of the other forms that we discussed on the other website with you to the INM office for your, to let them know the purpose for your visit. All right, guys, so now you know the process, you know the website, you know the forms that you need to bring, your documents, you know pretty much your whole in and out of the process to go ahead and get your temporary residency for beautiful Mexico. The one thing we wanted to point out, although on your initial request, like I mentioned earlier, you would request for the 1 year temporary residency. We've heard very recently, I don't know if this is something that's very new, that when you go to renew after that initial 1 year, you can request for up to 3 years. So that makes it so much easier. When we do our renewal process, which is coming up in the fall of this year, we're going to go ahead and request for a 3-year renewal. That's much better than having to renew every year, because your temporary residency is good. You have to do it for 4 years in a row. So it's kind of, takes a little bit of the headache out of the process instead of you doing that every year. Once you complete your first year, you can ask for the 3 years, boom, and then after you complete your 3 years, you can actually ask for your permanent residency.
Yep, and like my wife was saying, we'll let you guys know. And I think when you apply for the 3 years, from what we heard, of course you had to pay a little bit more money. It's not going to be the same fee as the 1 year.
They're going to kind of compound everything.
Yeah, they're going to compound everything. Yeah, they're going to pay more money. But man, guys, can you imagine 3 years? That means you don't have to really worry about it. That'll be great. That's amazing. So guys, I just wanted to, we're going back and forth. So I just wanted to say, if you're new to our channel, thank you for checking out our videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like our content. And if you feel like you want to come in and ask us questions, feel free to ask us the questions. We're going to get back with you the best we can, fast as we can. And we're just going to continue putting out more and more content. So guys, just let us know what you would like for us to do.
And guys, don't forget, click that notification bell. That way you're notified anytime we post new content. You don't have to go and search. And all of this information, all of the websites we talked about in the forums will be in the description link below. We hope you found this very helpful. And until next time, my friends, we'll see you later.
All right, guys. Peace.